Welcome in, Occupy Democrats, and oh, do we have another betrayal by one of your boys breaking story. Because it's been often said, be very wary of the person who has nothing to lose, especially if they're going to come after you. And that's exactly what you have in this breaking story, because one of Trump's main sycophants throughout his first term and all the way through to right now is on the way out the door, and despite his previous bad behavior, he is going to open the door up for a few skeletons on the way. I'm going to show that story to you in a few seconds. Let's remember what Mitch McConnell, train wreck from Kentucky, actually said he was going to do to Obama. This.
The only way to do all of those things is to put someone in the White House who won't veto any of these things.
McConnell says his party will repeatedly vote against Mr. Obama's initiatives.
And then, of course, justified the denial of Merrick Garland, Obama's pick for the Supreme Court, from even getting a hearing. This.
Of course, the American people should have a say in the court's direction. It is the president's constitutional right to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and it is the Senate's constitutional right to act as a check on a president and withhold its consent. Our view is this: give the people a voice in filling this vacancy.
And yet when it came to the end of Trump's term and he was a lame duck because Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, he flipped and was hypocritical on this.
The Democrats are prepared to block any Donald Trump Supreme Court nominee. Of course, as we already know, Senate Republicans led by Mitch McConnell prevented President Obama's Supreme Court nominee, Judge Merrick Garland, from even getting a hearing from any senator for the last 11 months. Now Republicans are demanding that Democrats grant President-elect Trump the same consideration they denied President Obama. So hypocrisy reigns. By the way, here's McConnell.
Apparently there's yet a new standard now, which is to not confirm a Supreme Court nominee at all. I think that's something the American people simply will not tolerate, and we'll be looking forward to receiving a Supreme Court nomination and moving forward on it.
And yet, as Mitch knew he was on the way out right after January 6th, he actually threw Trump under the bus. This.
Last time the Senate convened, we had just reclaimed the Capitol from violent criminals who tried to stop Congress from doing our duty. The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people. And they tried to use fear and violence to stop a specific proceeding of the first branch of the federal government, which they did not like. We'll have a safe and successful inaugural right here on the west front of the Capitol, the space that President Bush 41 called democracy's front porch.
So in this breaking story, what did Mitch McConnell just say about where Trump has the country headed? Oh, it's good. You have got to see this story. Check it out.
Sound familiar? Mitch McConnell lobs parting shot at America First Republicans. In his final act in Congress, Senator Mitch McConnell, R-Key, who was the Republican leader before stepping down in 2024, took aim at the growing MAGA wing of the Republican Party, dismissing suggestions about popularity and isolationist politics while defending his record. These suggestions about who's popular and who isn't irritate the hell out of me, because when you get into the leadership position, you get beat up, McConnell said in a recent interview with the Lexington Herald Leader published Wednesday. McConnell, 83, warned of risks reminiscent of the 1930s, when the slogan that has defined President Donald Trump's movement rose amid isolationism. I think this is the most dangerous period since before World War II. There's certain similarities right now to the 30s, he said, referencing the notorious Smoot-Hawley tariffs and isolationist sentiment. He added, those who were totally anxious to stay out of all of what was going on in Europe were called America First. Sound familiar? The Kentucky Republican also highlighted his long record of wins, saying 7 victories in Kentucky, 9 victories in the Senate Republican Conference. McConnell has won every election in Kentucky since defeating Democratic incumbent Walter D. Huddleston in 1984 and earned a record-breaking 18 years as Senate GOP leader. He explained that his focus over the remaining 2 years in office would be on defense and foreign policy. I'm not doing that anymore, campaigning, he said. I thought the best thing for me to do the last 2 years was to focus on what I thought was the most important thing I might have an impact on, and that's defense and foreign policy.
Yeah, ain't it funny, which we saw a lot of at the end of Trump's first term. You saw a number of people who were not going to choose to run for re-election, and they just started hammering on Trump. Jeff Flake really comes to mind in Arizona. But also, understand, I'm not making Mitch McConnell a hero in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's easy when you're in your mid-80s to start not lining up and not being one of the boys, and you're no longer the Senate Majority Speaker and leader. It's easy to start being less political or less duplicitous. It's easy to do that. So I'm not making McConnell a hero, but I am sharing with you that because he's from Kentucky and the issues with MAGA, it is imperative that more people like Mitch start coming forward and start calling Trump out for exactly what he's doing to this country every single week. Please, you guys, stay frosty.